Connecting your on-premises Active Directory to the cloud requires a secure authentication bridge. Today, we are configuring pass-through authentication and seamless single sign-on to build that exact connection. Before we begin clicking through configuration wizards, you need two things already in place: an active Microsoft 365 or Entra ID tenant, and a Windows server running the Azure AD Connect tool. Because we are also configuring seamless SSO, you must have your on-premises domain administrator credentials ready to authorize the link between your local environment and the cloud. For the cloud side, and specifically if you are taking the SC-300 exam, you need to execute this setup using an account assigned either the Global Administrator or Hybrid Identity Administrator role. Eliminating constant password prompts across local and cloud applications removes friction for your end users. It also reduces password fatigue, closing down the most common credential-based attack vectors in a hybrid network. Pass-through authentication does not sync your user's password hashes to the cloud. Instead, when a user attempts to log in, the authentication request bypasses Entra ID entirely and is validated directly against your on-premises Active Directory. To set this up, launch Azure AD Connect on your server, click Configure, and select the Change User Sign-In option. The wizard will prompt you to authenticate your tenant. Enter the username and password for your global or hybrid identity administrator account. These credentials are used strictly for this initial configuration step. Once authorized, Azure AD Connect creates a dedicated service account in the background that handles the ongoing synchronization automatically. Because this new service account takes over daily operations, standard security practice dictates disabling the global admin account you used for this setup once the configuration is complete, keeping your administrative surface area as small as possible. On the user sign-in screen, switch the sign-on method to the Pass-Through Authentication radio button. Right beneath that selection, verify that the Enable Single Sign-On box remains checked. This turns on seamless SSO for your desktop users. Clicking Next will trigger a prompt asking for your on-premises domain admin credentials. The wizard requires these to establish the computer account in your local Active Directory that powers the SSO functionality. You will then arrive at the Ready to Configure summary. Verify the list to ensure pass-through authentication and single sign-on are explicitly queued up. Leave these Start the Synchronization Process checkbox checked and click Configure to apply the changes. Let the process run until you see the Configuration Complete message confirming pass-through authentication is active. The server-side configuration is done, but the final required action is to push a group policy object to your employee endpoints, adding the Azure AD sign-in URLs to their local internet zone. That group policy tells the desktop browser to automatically pass the user's logged-in Windows credentials directly to Entra ID. It serves as the link tying your cloud setup directly to the end user's desktop experience. Even with a clean setup, connection issues occur. Assume a newly synced user reports that their cloud applications are rejecting their login attempts. Log into the Entra Admin Center. You can investigate this by opening the Security Identity Protection blade or by navigating directly to the primary sign-in logs. If this user was synced recently, wait. Cloud propagation and autopilot synchronization often take up to 15 minutes to fully update. Wait a quarter of an hour and ask the user to reboot before assuming a hard technical failure. If the error persists after 15 minutes, find the user's recent login attempt in the sign-in logs, select the failure event, and open the entry. Expand the More Details tab to reveal the underlying diagnostic data for the failure. You are looking to extract two specific data points to accurately trace the error: the exact timestamp of the failure and the unique correlation ID. Extracting the correlation ID allows you to isolate a specific authentication attempt across the Azure backend. If you ever need to escalate a ticket to Microsoft support, providing this ID is mandatory, and locating it is a highly testable concept on the SC-300 exam. We have successfully configured pass-through authentication, enabled seamless SSO, and extracted the diagnostic IDs required to investigate login failures. Now it is time to practice. Log in to your own developer tenant, open the sign-in logs, and locate the correlation ID for your own most recent login. For an added governance challenge, create a basic app inventory sheet to document exactly which enterprise apps those logged-in users are actually granted access to. Mastering these hybrid configurations allows you to maintain on-premises authority over your passwords while giving users a unified login experience. It's the foundational work needed to manage identity across the entire enterprise.